Hold it right there.
Am I doing that?
Thank you, Harvey. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Fatchett. If this is your 50th time listening to the show, I want those diagrams back. If you've never listened to the show before, welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you want to go back and dive into our back catalog, head over to nerdyphotographer.com/podcast, where you can find our most popular episodes as well as great places to start, depending on how far back you want to go. In addition to providing entertaining and informative photography-related info, I also go on adventures with the crew of the Starship Fibonacci. Right now, I'm working with Harvey, our new robot. Yes, another new robot, to get some repairs done. Harvey stands for Humanoid Assistant Robot Varying Electronic Yodel. Don't worry, I've disabled the yodel. Speaking of assisting, in this episode of the podcast, I talk with photographer Andrew Tomasino about how being an assistant helped dramatically with his photography career. More about that after the break. No yodeling. How did you enable that feature? Tired of juggling multiple programs to get the perfect look? Say hello to On1 Photo Raw, the ultimate photo editing software built by photographers for photographers. It's fast, powerful, and packed with tools, from precision masking to AI-powered enhancement. On1 Photo Raw gives you complete creative control without the subscription headaches. Edit raw files with ease, retouch like a pro, and bring your vision to life with stunning effects, all in one intuitive platform. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, On1 Photo Raw helps your photos stand out and your workflow stay smooth. Ready to upgrade your editing game? Download a free trial. Just go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/on1. That's nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/on1 and start creating without limits. Use our link and the discount code NERDYPHOTO20. That's NERDYPHOTO20 and save 20% off if you decide to purchase or subscribe to On1 software. On1 Photo Raw, powerful, creative, yours. Are you ready to take your website design to the next level? Look no further than Elementor, the cutting-edge WordPress website builder designed for professionals like you. With Elementor, you have the power to create entire website themes and layouts that are as unique as your imagination. Say goodbye to rigid templates and constraints. Elementor empowers you to design custom headers, footers, pages, posts, archive pages, and even WooCommerce product pages, all from a single user-friendly platform. The best part? You don't need to be a coding wizard to use Elementor. Say farewell to the days of wrestling with complex code or being dependent on a myriad of plugins. Elementor offers you a seamless, code-free design experience that puts you in control. So why limit your creativity? Choose Elementor and unleash your website design potential. Elevate your online presence with a website that truly represents your vision and brand. Get started with Elementor today. Just go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Elementor and witness the transformation of your WordPress web design experience. It's time to build an extraordinary website with ease and finesse. Don't wait. Create with Elementor. Okay.
Well, that says something about hard work, right?
That was some validation.
Yeah. Oh my God. We need that, right? As artists, I feel like that is a big deal. I used to kind of get in my head about feeling that way, but it is a community of artists, and that exchange is important. You know? Like that is cool to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's like something like when, I mean, I used to be, when I started out I studied journalism. And so like his work was always kind of like something I was aware of. And so it's like, like decades later.
Why do you feel you gravitated towards journalism?
Oh no, like at first when I was that's how I originally started studying photography.
Sure.
I enjoyed photography when I was a kid, and then I my mom got me, which today's her birthday.
Oh, how cool.
She passed away in 2020. So
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
it's always like it's the first day of spring. It's my mom's birthday. If it wasn't rainy and crappy outside, I would be outside planting some flowers because she loved working in her garden. I do too.
What did she have a favorite flower?
She loved roses. I have one rose bush that I'm trying to get going. It's hard with the deer around here.
I love the rose. I'm covered in them. It's my favorite as well. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, she had like we would always talk on her birthday. Obviously, like we'd speak to each other, but we'd talk about what we were planning that year,
Sure.
like for the spring. But back when I was a teenager, she bought me this camera. It's an old Minolta SRT 101 and like 3 lenses. It was like a 50 1.7, a 135 2.8, and a 24 2.8. And I had no idea how good I had it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, these are really good lenses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of played around with those for a while. And then when I went to college, I've always enjoyed writing. I was getting a theater degree. I originally started out in physics. And then I realized I didn't want to do that with my life.
Yeah, I would not. I can't hang like that.
Too much. Like, it was just like,
I can't do it, man.
Good at it, but at the same time I was just like, oh, like one of my professors was like had worked at like one of the super colliders and was just
Wow.
like and I said like I had a really I did really well in a particular lab, and there was just this moment of just like, oh, that was amazing. And I said, like, is this what working in the field is going to be like? And he's like, no. He's like, most of it's just gonna be doing math. And I was like, all right, maybe I don't want to do this my life. And I was getting a theater minor at that point, and it was my first year in college, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna be a theater major. I was also like taking English classes. I was like, I enjoy writing, so I changed that into like journalism. Like
I can see the combo of this, right? The movement towards that makes a lot of sense to me. That's very cool.
Yeah,
but it's about storytelling, right?
Yep.
It's about telling stories and being, I think journalists they find that through line in a very intimate way. It's so cool.
Yeah, used to. I don't know. I still have some friends who like are journalists and like over in the Middle East now.
Sure.
And like all over the world and like conflict zones, and like they're in like lesser known, I guess here in the United States, lesser known news outlets. Mm-hmm. But I totally respect what they do.
Totally.
It's beyond what I mean. Don't think I would be able to live in a war zone for years, and
that same deal. I can't
by choice.
Yeah. I'm a father too. I have an 8-year-old. I want to be near him. I'm fortunate enough to, to have that time with him, and that to me, it's very fitting for what I like to do. It's like, it's a big part of me and my motivation. And I don't think I like having story in what I do, but I'm not that guy. But I have a high admiration for it, of course. It's like an unbelievable. They're like the poets. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever seen there's a HBO series on conflict photographers. That's like it was like
no, but I have to see this.
Yeah, it's like.
Do you remember the name of it?
Michael Mann directed it. That's all I can think of right now.
I'll look it up. I'll find
it. But I think it might be called Conflict. Maybe, I'm not sure. But it's like 5 episodes, and each one is with a different photographer in like a different area. Sure. Also, the Nat Geo thing that came out last year, I think 2 years ago. There's Nat Geo series called Photographer, which is
Get Out.
Yeah.
Where have I been? I had no idea of this. That's
great.
Amazing.
It's fantastic. It like
is it like it takes a bunch of photographers, or
it's again, each episode is with a different like photographer or photography team, and they do all sorts of different stuff. They do like people who are out like working in like there's a guy who again conflict photographer, but he kind of like turned that around to like doing portraits of children and making it a charity,
Oh,
like
wow.
creating a charity, like to try to like help children in conflict zones. Then there are other people who are obviously going out and photographing animals and out in the
Sure.
wild. And there's like a couple who like does like photo and video of whales.
Damn.
And then there's a Campbell Addy. I don't know if you've heard of Campbell Addy.
Mm.
He does a lot of like fashion and
Oh,
portrait
okay,
work.
cool.
Again, another great series that I highly recommend to
I
people.
will definitely get into that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. The conflict photographer one is really intense.
Right. I was going to say it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Yeah, I mean, just the
Yeah.
stuff they go through. Also, I don't know if there's a movie that came out a while back called The Bang Bang Club
Mm.
with Ryan Philippe. And is it Ryan Philippe? It's either Ryan Philippe or Paul Walker. I think it's Ryan Philippe. Yeah, Ryan Philippe. And what's his name from Friday Night Lights? Taylor Kitsch. And they play photographers in South Africa. These are they're real people that
Right.
existed who were there during apartheid.
Oh,
And it's just like
heavy.
very heavy, and how like depressed they are. Like they're like trying to stay. Well, we've got to stay neutral.
Right.
We
So,
have to
but
stay
that,
because that's our job, is to like kind of like remain neutral and like.
see, but I can't, in me, I know that would be difficult. Like the difficulty of that, it's so hard to not feel some type of way about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's
Yeah,
so intense. I don't know if I could be in that. I think it would cloud,
it influences you.
it's just a hard cloud to work through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it influences you, and you feel like I feel like I would do like there's a certain amount of editorializing I would probably do in like my choices. Is interestingly, as I'm like we are saying, just put out this episode with Pete Souza, and he was talking about like we all have the same viewfinder,
Sure.
but you choose what to put in it and what to leave
Right.
out of it.
Right. Do you think that is a? I think that is like a personality and a person, like obviously through experience and everything. But I think it's in when I haven't met Pete, but when I meet those who are in their role, they're a journalist or they're doing portraits or they're sports photography. Like I feel like the longer I do this, the more I am like, this is like something that has always been for the people that I'm interacting with. And it's like an energy. It's obviously the work, of course, but there's more and more kind of things that click when I talk to others that are like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. And it's so interesting to me. Yeah, I love that aspect of, again, the community, because we could all be so different but all be so very passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah, it's really, you bring yourself
Yeah.
to like, I think that's an Ansel Adams quote or somebody, I can't really, like, the picture doesn't happen in the camera, it happens on either side of it.
Sure.
Yeah, with the photographer and the subject are the things that make the photo.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And
I couldn't agree more.
we started talking. I'm just going to go. Welcome to the Nerdy Photographer Podcast.
Yeah, like have we started?
Yeah, I was already recording.
I was like, okay, cool, we're good.
I'm your host, Casey Fatchett, and I'm here today with photographer Andrew Tomasino. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Getting deep on it already.
We had already kind of broke into this, but I do this thing called the Dice Breaker. We'll do it anyway. It's a 16. Okay, dream dinner party guests. Who are your?
I got to be honest. I feel really stoked to have the group of friends that I do, so I probably just go with that. So we're talking about photographers.
Anybody at all.
Anyone at all. This one's tough. I think Edgar Allan Poe.
Hmm.
Just like be weird and talk to him and just see what he thinks about like whatever is going on here. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I get into I ask this question to people, and people like they're like, "Well, what about you?" And like I don't know. Mine changes sometimes. Like there are things like I just think of like interesting people. Like I think
Sure.
there'd be like David Lynch. I missed.
Oh, that would have been another sick pick. You
Yeah,
know, it's like totally awesome.
there were I photograph a lot of events, and there have been so many where like he was there and I just missed him. I never got to like meet him or photograph him, and be like, "Oh, you just missed David Lynch," and I'd be like, "Oh," but
Yeah, I
he's like
mean,
on that list of like I
huge
think of,
inspiration for me, an aesthetic that is just so unique
yeah,
and like the one of a kindness of him. It's like he was, dropped off here, from
yeah.
space.
Well, from
Like I love that.
he
I love,
vibrated in from another plane,
yeah,
is
like I just
transcendentally
love
meditated here.
that.
Um,
Yeah.
there's yeah, it's just visually like and I talk about this with my wife sometimes. She's like, well, she'll say like I'm not as big of a fan as you are, and she's like, I don't I'm and I said I think that one of the things that appeals to people about his work is that it doesn't have to make sense.
Right. It's about like I think I got so excited I knocked this thing out. I I think it's about it is a little like weird, right? But you have to be down for that. And
Right.
if you're willing to sit in it a little bit, it's not as awkward. It's actually just more of like, where am I pushing my visual field and like how am I thinking about sound and things like that? And I love doing that. It's an exercise. And
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah. You really have
why
to.
he's so great
Yeah. I
because he
think that,
tested people.
yes. I think that it's like you said, you have to be open to it and just go on the journey that he's starting out. And it might take you somewhere like, and he very much it's like, this is where you take from it what you will. You're the audience member, and it all like, I'm not saying where you have to
Absolutely.
go.
I think like, with being making photography, being an artist, you want to have a voice you could look at. I see Casey's photo, I know it's you.
Yeah.
I think that some of the best photographers, I mean, Frank Ockenfels comes to mind. Totally, like boom, there's his work again. It's such a unique voice. Elizaveta Portadina, unbelievable work, one of a kind, one percenter type work. But that is like the voice of the photographer, and the artistry there is so powerful every single time. That uniqueness, I think we're all after.
Yeah. I mean, we all strive for our signature style.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Like I was like, and I think that, I don't know about you. Um, when I started out, there was sort of this, we were talking about this when we first started, like insecurity, like this sort of like, needing validation, from
Yeah,
other people. And so I think I was taking photos that I thought other people would like,
100%.
yeah, you
This
just,
is how it starts, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was, just like taking pictures that I thought, other people are going to enjoy this. And instead of thinking about my own vision for what I wanted to do. And then over time, I was able to hone my vision, and that attracted clients to me who really like they enjoyed that's what they wanted out of their photos. But it was only, I think it only be really solidified for me, even like as a business, when I was
Sure.
able to like really carve out my own style.
Yeah, I think I have this conversation with a lot of my friends who are also like my colleagues and stuff. And when I talk about this topic, right, I I don't think I'm as good at business to be completely honest, I've done a lot of things. I feel like I'm scrappy, so I like just I put together what I can, and I assist, and I'll do lighting design, and I kind of came up through like that path, but I mean, I chose to do it in pandemic, like, of course.
Yeah.
It's like when I was stepping out and being like, I'm going to start shooting and doing a lot more of that. I went through this crash course. Like, I started just immediately copying or trying to work through this idea of like, you have to learn by way of doing. And I wanted to have what I wanted to build my taste. So I would try to recreate some of these images, and I would learn the light, and I would
Yeah.
see how the light worked. Right. So that was like the first little taste of being able to have the skill. My That experience is so intense because you're like chasing something you don't know how to make a good picture, but you really kind of believe that you can, and you want and you want to like wrestle with that.
Yeah.
But that crash course gives you the little signs of what I think you eventually evolve into. So looking backwards, I've been doing this for about 16 years now, and looking backwards, all of that matters, but it's just like not when you're in it, you're just like trying to first show something. And
Right.
if it's like your influences, it's kind of like people are gonna be like, that's pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think that there's that. One of the things I tell people when they're starting out is, if you like movies, or you like, and again, this kind of brings us back to Lynch a little bit. But
yeah,
I was thinking about, like, if you're watching, like, one of the best ways to sort of train yourself is really watch movies from a sense of composition and lighting. And it's like such an amazing, like, free course.
I'm
And
laughing because you'll be ruined for movies forever after this, you know?
yeah.
I mean, I love cinema, and I love, like shows like Breaking Bad, like just destroyed my mind. Michael Slovis was the lead cinematographer most times, and just an unreal style of looking at composition and light. But now, because because I do it and then I'm into it, but you're like ruined for both sometimes. You know what I mean?
I
You're
don't know.
like, I'm always looking. I'm always looking.
I have like a switch in my mind where I'm able to just, and there'll be times when I'll be watching a movie and I'm still in the movie, and I'll just look at my wife and say, this is shot incredibly. Like, this is
Oh
just the
yeah, I
most, like,
freak out. I hit pause. I'm always, I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
yeah,
Just
this
like,
is nuts.
then I go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's I like sharing that with you because it speaks to the level. There's a slight obsession with it. I came up in this career under Joe McNally. He's my mentor for years, and you know his path through photography with me, giving me a career working as an assistant starting off and then moving through. It's just like all these tools that you learn through that process that give you the ability to even make a picture,
Right.
even give you the ability to start messing with the light or even understanding light. So I'm always in reflection of that, and I still work for him, and he's the reason why we met.
Yeah. We met at one of his workshops.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where you can't help but be like, wow, okay, I got so lucky early on, kind of getting into it that way. But yeah,
I mean, there's a thing, and it's I actually just wrote an article about this, about, and we're not going to focus on this too much, but I want
Sure.
to talk about it a little bit, in how assisting teaches you so much about A, the craft itself, and B, like, it can teach you about the business and interacting with your subjects, your
totally.
clients.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I there's some guy who was on social media who was saying, like, my recommendation to any photographer in their early 20s is go out and get a photography degree, even if you have to go into debt to do it. And I was just like, no,
that is ridiculous
this
to
is the
me.
most ridiculous advice I've ever heard.
That is so ridiculous. I actually feel I did go to school, and like, it's like you can't change the past, but I think I would have gone into assisting earlier. And I think I would have thought of it as go to New York, work in a grip house, learn every bolt and stand and how they work and all that, then access shoots to look at what is happening.
Right.
Also lighting trends and all that. You're actually serving the people who are trending in photography.
Yeah.
So your access to that is unbelievable. Then you could find people you could reach out to because you have all these photographers coming to you.
Yeah.
They're just feeding you what you're supposed to. Okay, so it's like, okay, do that. And then I think the assisting track is the way. I don't actually, I think now it's like there's so many ways, but because there's so many ways, it's almost like, how the hell do I even do any of them? But assisting to me is a big good method of, I've met amazing people through doing it, and I've learned so much, and it helped me develop where I'm chasing my own style.
Yeah. I think that you get to see, as JC Carey was on and was also at the same event.
How cool.
But when he was on, he talked about like process over recipe.
Sure.
Like, instead of just like sitting down and like, this is my recipe, like I'm just going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to set up my settings on my camera and place lights in the exact same position, and I'm not going to get the same photo because like something's different. There's some other variable, but like teaching the process, and that's something when you're assisting someone, you really get to see that.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to, you can go to YouTube University and like watch people's videos, and like, you're not going to necessarily. Depends on who you're watching. First of all,
this is what I'll also say about that. You could go to YouTube University and do that, right? But I am making money while I'm doing it,
right?
And I am being able to be like, I'm a freelancer. I've been so this long. I did have a stint at an ad agency, but I just kind of like, it was like, I gave it a shot, not my thing at all. So doing this for as long as I've been doing it, the ability, if I got all of that lighting knowledge, I'm placing a bet that I'm just going to immediately get work.
Right.
And the bridge to that, I think it's harder without assisting through, and then you attain connection, you attain income that helps you get connected. Makeup artists, hairstylists, other assistants.
Yeah.
Other lighting techs. What is that? A digitech? Like, I didn't even know it. I knew nothing. and I'm, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm like, okay, let me get in. I'll take the trash out. I'll make coffee. I'll be cool with this, because I think I knew early on I had a real passion. I was bringing up McNally because people will give you a chance if you want to work hard. And I think I believe I'm bright in reference to photography, but I don't think I'm like the brightest dude. So I needed some help there, and McNally he saw that hard work, and he was like, I know that this guy wants to do something cool. I also, when I started working for him, the Nikon D90 came out. It's the first DSLR with video. And I had a little bit of video experience. So I immediately started applying this to the studio, and he was like, let's roll with this, dude. Yeah. So all these years later, I've learned, how the classic way to make an image, and then how to break that to make my own imagery. Tremendous respect for McNally and what he's done for me in my career. I mean, his work is totally, it's timeless in so many ways.
Yeah. I mean, he's the first, I'm going to age myself, but it was the first book I picked up when I really decided I was going to get into lighting.
Moment Clicks?
Yeah. It's just like that. And I was like, okay, well, he explained it better than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, so I really understood at that point. Like, and I had years of just being a natural light photographer.
Sure.
And like using
It is lighting, I have to say.
using
But
reflectors.
I get it.
I wasn't just like, oh well, let's put. I was using reflectors and
Sure.
and other things, and sometimes like constant light. But I didn't really know Flash, and I was kind of afraid of it. And I picked up his book, and I was like, well, okay,
Yeah.
that now I understand so much better.
Totally changed me, my career.
Yeah, and
My friend Drew Gurian, another unbelievable photographer, he put that book in my hand. He was like, if you want to get into it, check this book out. And pew, there it went.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sold on this. This is so cool.
Yeah, because you just like, I don't know. I try to tell people who I think are afraid of Flash, like so they're kind of resistant to it because they don't really want to admit like I'm not sure what to do with this and like what's going to happen.
Sure.
And I say like it's another tool.
Absolutely.
It's another tool in your toolbox. And let me tell you, depending on what type of photography you do, like I do a lot of events, you need to know Flash. You need to like, cause you don't know what you're walking into.
Well, if you work commercially in any way,
yeah,
your clients are going to expect a clean picture.
Right.
So
consistency.
This is an essential skill over time. I would love to be super fortunate that I stepped onto the scene and my, open shade lighting was the best and I didn't have to do any of this,
Like that I just got hours of the same quality of light through a window.
Where I could guarantee that people want to like book it at the perfect time, at the perfect place, at the, all these things. But it's so much production too. Like that's another reason why coming up through that, I learned so much about what it actually takes.
Yeah.
And that I just crazy to this day. Every time I'm like booking a shoot myself or thinking about the business side too, I carry that with me. It's like, okay, what does it actually take to get this done? That helps a lot.
Yeah. You learn so much. Like you said, you're getting paid instead of like, dishing out thousands of dollars for tuition, you're getting paid.
I got to see the world. Yeah. I got to travel the world with him. It was like, this is like, I feel so cool. It's great. It was a big confidence booster. Talk about confidence booster.
I'm sure. So what initially drew you to photography? I mean, we've talked about like
I was in bands for years.
Okay.
I was in hardcore scene in my area. I'm in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. I'm perfectly placed between Philadelphia and New York. So I operate as a local in both. And, I'll take my portfolio in, take a meeting, things like that. I've grown very comfortable doing that. I'm in the car all the time, but it's fine because in my days in music, my band did like a few tours, nothing crazy, but did it enough I like being on the road. It's like a road trip. It's an excuse to get out, all that. So I love that. But music was how I got into taking pictures because I was traveling and I wanted to document some things. I was just finding my way through that. And then what would happen is like my band wanted to get a picture done. And I was like, I have to make this happen. I have to do it, but I'm in the band, so I've got to be in it. So then that was like, okay, how do I set this up? I think my first camera, I went through like the Sony Cybershot days. Like they had like a circular, it's kind of this weird oval, but I just started working with that on a small tripod and shooting shows and maybe a backstage thing. But yeah, the idea was that I just wanted to, I think I was like, now that I'm playing a lot of music, I want to try this because it keeps me creative. And now that I'm doing this full time, I go back to music to keep me creative. But that was my initial access.
Interesting.
And then I ended up, trying to see how I could make a little scratch doing it. And the first thing I do is like, okay, someone's Andrew can make a good picture. Maybe give him a couple of bucks to do it. And I did. I was like, I'll just take it because it's like I'm learning. It's like I'm not going to be like, I need this and that. It wasn't about that. It was like, let's just make a picture. So then I ended up through this path meeting my friend Drew Gurian, and he was interested in photography like I was, where we were both admitting like, man, like, have you checked this out? Have you checked that out? We had this kind of furious nature to the exchange of info, which is, again, it's like community is what gets you there.
Sharing.
So he and I ended up shooting weddings for years together because we were young, and he was bartending and I was like working retail. We were like, we could just like, let's apply our skill and do this. So we were doing that. And that's kind of like how it morphed. I think it went for me. It was interesting because it kind of went right away to be like, I can make money doing this, way more money than being in a band, I'll tell you. And I don't even think I was pursuant to that as a career. I think I definitely would have if we got a chance. But I think what I was realizing is the commercialization of photography gave me an opportunity to pursue art. And I have been an artist from as long as I can remember. You know, I studied painting in school, but I was too impatient. Photography, and I mean, the way I like to make pictures is like speaks to that past, but photography itself gave me access to just like make art and then try to make a living off of that. Because my deal was I didn't want to work a desk. I didn't want to do that. I want to be able to give myself the freedom of my own time, and like the touring and that experience really helped me expand on how I felt authentic. And that was access to trying to pursue that. So
yeah, it's interesting. When I was an actor, I first moved to New York City. I brought my camera with me, obviously, and like I was just doing pictures of I was doing headshots for other actors, doing promo shots for bands. This is all film. Sure. And then I was going and shooting like live shows for bands. And that was what really solidified my like fundamentals, because I had two camera bodies, two different film speeds, and like the lights are constantly changing.
Oh yeah.
And this was
the magic though.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I look back at some of those photos.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. It's I tell people if they want to learn like how to manually set their camera, go and shoot a band in a bar or like a club, just like a dark club, and go in there and you can only have like 800 or 3200 ISO.
I would cry. I would just start crying. I would just start crying.
Yeah,
like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I had like.
Go ahead.
I had either 400 or 800 in one camera and 3200 in the other, black and white, and that was like the two speeds that I had, because I was just like, there's not a lot of choices here.
The way I shoot, I have two bodies, but one of them is an X Pro 2. It's an old, it's like an old Fuji camera. And I keep that at 3200 ISO on the acro setting. So it's just black and white. And I literally tell people this is just my black and white camera. And the files will go to color, but people just freak out if you're shooting black. God forbid you shoot black and white digitally. You know what I mean? But I use it like that to give me that feeling, and it gives me the nervous feeling because I'm kind of locked in,
Yeah.
But I love the grain and I love all that. So it's like I love what you're saying about that, because it's just like the forced nature. I was just talking about this. This is like something that I go crazy for, but it's like creativity through restriction, where it's like this is what I'm stuck with, right?
Right.
So much of photography is like solving a problem. It's like, man, okay, so they want me to make a portrait of this celebrity, but they want me to do it in the closet.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, this is an opportunity still. So but it's all of like solving problems. Yeah. And that to me that's what's so cool about photography. In addition to, again, it's art you're getting to make.
Yeah. Limitations are going to teach you more than going into like the easiest job in the world and just be like, all right, we're going to set this up and we've got
totally.
Yeah. Whatever. But you go in and like, again, instructionally, I tell people like, you want to do, like, you can only get one lens. You can't change lenses. Go out I
support this.
Yeah. You can only do
use that lens for use a 50 millimeter for a year. And then And then when you pick other focal lengths, you'll have such a huge understanding of that movement. And I think it's also cool to zoom with your feet.
Yeah.
So it's like picking a prime, like a cheap prime that will get you this. Everybody is working with aperture. They all want to see the blurry,
Yeah.
they will all want to do. So it's the best one to start with. And then you just use that and use that. And then when you start to switch it up, you will have more of a full understanding of composition and, what is too wide for a portrait? Where
Right.
am I going with this? What do I do with the super long lens? The compression, seeing that,
Yeah.
it expands once you use something in a restricted way.
Right.
You learn it immediately.
You start to learn, you see all the other possibilities, and as well as like just knowing that inside and out. And that, I always see that, what's the best lens for a portrait? And I'm like,
well, it's
and
whatever with whatever camera you got.
Right. Yeah. Whatever you have.
You got to be good about that.
Right. And,
But,
medium telephoto is to start is usually like when you consider like what people are talking about, but it also depends on what look you're going for. I can use
100%.
I can use a 35 millimeter for a portrait if I really want that sort of,
Absolutely.
like wider angle or whatever. Like there's like, you just have to understand like how each lens like captures an image and like what you're getting and how you can manipulate
and I think
it.
it's using, like, I love aperture priority. It's how I came up. It's like lock into that. I teach at a college near me on Fridays, and it's I'm doing spring semester, and I tell the students when I'm teaching, it's like lock into this one thing. I think aperture priority is the most accessible thing because it gives you what you want, right? Most people want to mess around with depth of field.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see how that works. They're not sure about this other stuff, right? But they know that aperture will get them the one thing they want. And then from there, you can just start seeing how the camera like borks out if you're like in a dark space and it's dumping light through the window. You start to immediately see like, okay, what's going on here? And that to me is like such an important thing. It's also, might I add, a McNallyism where he walks into a room and he kind of scouts with aperture priority. And now I cannot help myself.
Yeah.
It is my method because I gain control in a way where the camera's doing some work. I'm not as stressed. I know it's going to get me somewhere.
Right. It's going to get you in the ballpark.
Swing.
Yeah.
But then I get to manipulate and add light. And that is where my benefit comes into, just like, this is one thing I'm always telling people, and it's been coming up a lot recently, but photography doesn't have to be hard to be good.
Right.
And if you make it easier for yourself, your creative mind will be more free. I think in photography, it's very easy to get wrapped around. It's like, I got 6 lights up in the air. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. My settings, I don't, the ISO's going up, the shutter's going, it's like, where am I going with all this stuff? It's like, just simplify that whole process and understand that for me, there's a person on the other end of that. And my connection and my, I think, my gratitude for them being there to allow me to do this first, and then being able to work with them as a collaborator who's talking art, not like give me 10 minutes while I shift all this stuff around. You don't want that to happen. You want connection.
Yeah. Don't overly complicate the scenario.
Does not have to be complicated. Some of the best photographers, Lachlan Bailey comes to mind. He's an unbelievable fashion photographer, and it's like, I'm not simplifying his work. His work is unbelievable, but it's like picking the right time, looking at the light, like paying attention to what matters with that. It's not a simplification. It's such an amazing taste that is about the subtlety of things. And that is where it goes bonkers.
It's focus.
Yeah. But making it easier for yourself, and that could be by scouting the day before. There's an app called Sunseeker I use, and you can take your phone out, and I can like look around and see where the light's going to be the whole day. and I'll take a screenshot of it. When I location scout, it's like all this data that I now have. I'm now ready for that day. I'm prepped. I know exactly what's going on. So again, it's easier for me. I
Right.
comfort that area in order to just set my creative mind like ablaze on the day of.
Yeah, that preparation. I think that a lot of people don't understand like how much preparation goes into a portrait, fashion, all this sort of like city, like street photography.
Totally.
Phil Penman, who's been on the show, like we were talking a lot, and he was like, I have like journals upon journals upon journals of like what the light is like at this time of day, this time of year, in this location, so that like I know this is the type of light I like.
Right.
I'm going to go back there for these 2 weeks of the year,
right,
at this time, because I know that's the light that I like. I've done all this work and figuring out like in these places that I will frequent, that's when the light is really my favorite.
Preparation leading to inspiration.
Yeah. You free up like you said, you free up the creative side to run free because you've done all the work, the technical stuff beforehand, or you're allowing your camera, as you're saying, like aperture priority. One of the things they get into again with like these people understand the metering, how metering works in your camera, because your camera is dumb. I mean, it can make really fast calculations and very smart in that way, but it's like dumb. It does what you tell it to do. Like you said, like aperture priority or whatever. But like when you're looking at metering, like so many people don't understand like what this means. Like what does center weighted mean? What does how much? What is it metering off of? And it's like, okay,
I get that.
Go out and get a light meter.
Well, I mean, I shoot tethered a lot, so sometimes I just I get myself a black frame and then I'll begin to test from that black frame as I add light.
Yeah.
I do meter, but not all the time. Sometimes I just open up capture and I'm looking in it and I'm like, okay, let's move it from here,
Yeah. Makes sense. That makes sense. I'm talking about like if you're out and about, like running around outside or whatever.
Totally.
Like, it's just, things can change. I too, and one of my best friends, who's also a photographer who I occasionally like shoot for, like will get on me like, oh, you aperture priority, like he's like shakes his fist because he's like editing afterwards. And I'm like, well, what do you want? And he goes, well, just shoot manually. And I'm like, in some instances I will. In other instances, the light is changing so dramatically. It was an event that I was photographing that was outside, like 500 people at sunset into the evening. Like I can't just like, okay, some people are in the sun, some people are in the shade. Like, if I'm manually shooting this, I'm constantly like
bonkers. Yeah, I would not do that. And also I think one thing too with that, use aperture priority as a scouting tool and then lock in via manual, and then you could start to slide and get real precise. I try to do that. When I'm doing lighting design, I try to lock us in that kind of way. If we're on location, then the camera does its dumb brain thing. You lock in and you start to get precise. And then when I'm doing lighting design, then it's the photographer's job to then put their taste into it.
Right.
And then most of the time we're all hovering around capture one and we're looking at the files and we're like, okay, let's mess around a little bit. And a lot of my process, I respect the film process, and I shoot rolls of film to document life. And I think it's like a great way to capture memory. But for me, in my process as, shooting portraits and fashion, or when I'm on set, it's a digital process because of the speed.
Yeah.
Clients need photos so fast.
Yes.
And also being able to do it in capture, it gives me the tools to add color and to make it feel film if I want.
Right.
I have a lot of power in there. So I love that. I love putting the sauce on it.
Yeah, exactly. The special sauce. You put your own special sauce on it. You get to emulate. You can emulate film look. It's there's a lot of things you can do, but it's just film is prohibitive for commercial work.
Yeah, it's too
It's
expensive.
yeah. When I tell people I do weddings, do a lot of weddings, and I'll have people say like, "Oh, do you do film?" And I'll be like, "Only for portraits."
Yeah.
Only for portraits, and
Yeah.
that's in the rest of the
Or I
day.
would charge them a
Yeah,
zillion, and I
right.
would just do it.
It's an add-on. It's an
Yeah.
addition, and they'll be like, "Oh, how much is it?" And I'm like, "Well, that depends if we're shooting 35 or 120."
Yeah. 120 is the answer though.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
I went to medium format, digital medium format, and I just it's the best. It's so funny because I'm shooting medium format and then I'm shooting the Expert 2 is like a crop sensor. So it's just like it's
That's two
chaos
different
mode, but I
worlds.
love it. I just love it.
So, if you could work on any project whatsoever,
Mhm.
no limitations, budget, travel, access to anything, what would it be?
Well, I think the path that I'm on is to get to a certain place within fashion photography. Um, I think it's it's such a hard field, and it's so. I mean, how many people, they want to do that? So it's like I thought I would pick the safer route, like exiting music, and then I'm like doing this. I'm like, this is like basically the same deal,
Yeah.
but I love fashion. I have since I was young. I grew up in a family of beauticians, so it was like I was always looking at fashion magazines and stuff. It's like heavy influence on music and being fashionable, things like this. So it kind of wore on me, but it was just the repeated imagery of wow, this is so cool to me. It's also like a playground of imagination. It's very free um, for that in the space of photography, and I think that's really cool. So I think if I could dream up of something, I mean, it would, I'd love to shoot for any of these major fashion houses, but I think career wise, I think, well, absolutely shooting something like, for Chanel or something like that, be so cool. And I love the studio. I love location. But I think right now, I think why I'm kind of stumbling on this, it's hard because the path that I'm going is where it may end up there, it may not. But when I shoot fashion and I work with the people involved in fashion, I feel the most me, and that helps me make amazing work,
Mm.
And I like, again, back in for the music, you're in a band.
It's
Fashion
collaborative.
feels a little bit like the band, where it's not performance art, but it's definitely performance art. But the
Yes.
thing about it is like there's performance art for the talent, right? The model, or when I'm making portraits, it's like your subject. But they're kind of performing for the camera, right? But the team around is kind of performing for them because we all want this like amazing picture. So the element of that is so interesting to me, and that feels a little bit like rock and roll or punk, punk rock.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to me to have that kind of feeling. So I think if I had my career goal is to get to that at a very skilled level, and that by way of if it's high fashion, cool. But I like where I'm at and the work that I make. I think why I said earlier that I'm more artist and less business is because my path has always been pursuant to create something that feels uniquely me in my style. So that's the goal for me. On my path in fashion, I would love to just continue to get into, obviously we all want bigger budgets. The production is crazy. Um, I think that a lot of fashion houses, they want that wild creativity. Tim Walker is unbelievable. He shoots so much for Vogue, and it's this super unique style. Um, Nadia Lee comes to mind. Totally unique voice and very skilled. So the high end just loves it. I think that's where I would like to be somewhere there.
You'd like to be
long-winded, but that's kind of where I'd be.
no, like to be so uniquely yourself and to grow to
Right.
that
Like
point
I
of
want to have a definable style, and I'm really pushing towards that. I have um, pictures that have struck me deeply that I've made that make me feel like, okay, there's certain things that this year and I think like this year and next year in my test shoots that I'll continue to pursue to kind of keep pushing this style. But I've been in this 16 years, but and in professional way, on campaigns and all this stuff, I've got to see a lot. But now it's the idea of using the technical to get into a more discernible style where people start looking at my work and going, wow, this is like,
that's it.
Tomasino's work is really great.
Yeah, that's the thing that we talk like you can look at it and you can identify it and be like, okay, this
yes, that is what I'm most hungry for now.
Yeah, that's what you're striving for. Okay, and all right, kind of close us up a little bit.
Sure.
What is one piece of advice you wish you'd received when you were starting out as a photographer?
Buy more batteries.
Oh.
You need a lot of batteries.
You need a lot of batteries, especially if you're shooting mirrorless. You need a ton of batteries. I don't know how many times I've seen somebody post on social platforms like, oh man, I forgot my battery at home. I'm like, one? You have one singular battery?
Been there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Get a number of memory card. Get multiple memory cards and multiple batteries.
Yeah. Back up your work. I think I would. I think I would just have someone be like, just go for it hard. Like, just you got to really lean in, and I did. I think if I was giving that advice, because it's a hard path, but it's a worthwhile path, and there are ways to make a living doing this full time. Consider it to the camera, assisting and lighting and all these. Get good at those skills and lean into them hard, because they will benefit you moving forward. You'll be able to speak more clearly and hold every role, like edit a video, shoot a video, direct a video, do all these things. You'll grow so much from there.
Yeah, I think the video is becoming such a I think on many different levels, because of social media, but people wanting more video content to complement the still images. It's like it's such a vital skill to learn for photographers. And
I've been doing that with reels a lot.
Yeah, really, I've noticed.
Yeah, big on those.
Yeah, I think that's great. Hey there, nerds. The Nerdy Photographer has a brand new website, and with it, we've created a resources page where you can find all sorts of things to help you in your photographic journey, from contract templates to website hosting to web design services to printing. It's all in there. Be sure to go out and check out nerdyphotographer.com/resources. That's nerdyphotographer.com/resources. Photographers, it's time to revolutionize your workflow with Aftershoot. Imagine culling through thousands of images in a matter of minutes, effortlessly flagging blurry shots and closed-eye pictures. Now you can stop imagining and meet your new photography sidekick, Aftershoot, the game-changing AI photo culling and editing software. Say goodbye to hours spent sifting through images, as Aftershoot's AI can cull thousands of photos in just a few minutes, grouping together similar shots and flagging those blurry or closed-eye pics. I have been using Aftershoot for a little over a year, and I have to say, it has transformed the workflow on the portrait side of my business, culling and organizing my photos from family portrait sessions to corporate headshots in a matter of minutes. For engagements, events, and weddings, it does a great job as a first pass cull for me, since I like to go through and make sure I didn't miss anything, but those family and group photos are all solidly organized together, and that saves me so much time. You can also make your artistic vision a reality. Aftershoot's automated AI editing is customizable to your unique style. Edit thousands of images in just a few clicks, achieving consistency and brilliance effortlessly. Sign up now at nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/aftershoot and experience the aftershoot advantage with your first month free. Transform your workflow and transform your business. Go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/aftershoot or click the link in the episode notes and free up time for what you love by letting AI handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on capturing moments and not sorting through them.
Hey. And now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Useless information. This is always death.
It's time for our useless information.
Useless info. I love this.
Yeah, so a little bit of trivial knowledge, which I always include with every episode.
I love this.
Andrew, how fast do you think the world's best competitive eaters can eat a hot dog? Like a single hot dog.
A single one?
Yes. The whole thing.
10 seconds.
8.5.
Okay.
You were very close. Very close.
I've seen some competitions.
Yeah. Joey Chestnut set through 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Outrageous.
10 minutes? Geez, that makes me ill thinking about it.
It makes me ill, but I'm also like, I like hot dogs.
I do like a good hot dog, especially Nathan's. Nathan's are pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And where can people find you online, find your work, follow along with you?
My website's andrewtomasino.com. And my Instagram handle is t.omasino. It's just my last name. If you type in Tomasino, it'll most likely come up. It's like a yellow smiley face.
I will include the links in the episode notes. Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show. Maybe come back
Case,
sometime.
thanks for your time. I appreciate you asking me to be on the show. I really appreciate it.
Welcome back. Thank you, Harvey. I want to thank Andrew Tomasino for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. You can find Andrew's info and links in the episode notes. Go follow him now. While you're clicking on those links, be sure to subscribe to the show. Leave a review because they're mighty helpful, and new people will find the podcast because of it. And then follow along with the Nerdy Photographer on the social medias, at The Nerdy Photo. That's at The Nerdy Photo on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, and Reddit. No dots, underscores, or dashes. You don't want to miss out on the discussions and shenanigans that happen between the episodes. Seriously, folks. Shenanigans. But they're good-natured shenanigans. Thanks, Harvey. Where did you get this from? We weren't even using this.
What?
Yes. Thank you for the assistance, but this is from an entirely different set of tools. Until next time, everybody, stay safe and stay nerdy.
Who's that coming back to town? You better start listening. Who's your heart been beating about? You better listen.